I'm reacting to your Monday Night Raw Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether those are good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you're following me over on X because I ask for your hot takes there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. And if you are looking for my 30-minute review of this particular episode of Monday Night Raw, it's already up and available over on patreon.com/SantiZab with footage so that you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Over there, we upload the Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, and a bunch of other extra videos and series that never get uploaded here to YouTube because we tend to use footage in those videos and those would just get blocked here due to copyright. So go check it out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I am incredibly confident that you are going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's see what you guys sent in. We got absolutely nothing from the crowd to lighting the quote, "We want Karrion Kross" movement. Sure, there were subtle teases for Kross throughout the show, but no loud chants like we're normally used to hearing. What are your thoughts on this? I think it could be a multitude of different things. One of the things that it could be is maybe there were "We want Karrion Kross" chants, but maybe WWE muted them. I don't think that that's the case. I don't want to start a whole conspiracy theory, but I don't want to completely rule it out as a possibility. The other one that's unfortunately more likely is that maybe the "We want Kross" movement just doesn't have the legs. It just doesn't have the oomph and the fire to actually take over arenas like the "We want Cody" movement and the "We want Truth" movement. That is also a very strong possibility. Just because it's big online doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily translate towards the people that actually pay their hard-earned money. Maybe the people there just don't really care about Karrion Kross. You also have to remember that they were in Quebec, which is Sami Zayn country, and the last person that Karrion Kross feuded with happened to be Sami Zayn. So a lot of people thought that we were going to get Karrion Kross chants during Sami Zayn matches. I call those people insane. Like, you don't understand how much the province of Quebec loves Sami Zayn. They weren't going to chant "We want Kross" during Sami Zayn matches. Maybe, just maybe, that was the wrong place to start the Karrion Kross movement because Quebec maybe doesn't love Karrion Kross. It's possible that maybe once they're back in the United States that we'll get those Karrion Kross chants, but I think that by then it'll be too little too late. If we were really going to start something to try and get Karrion Kross back in the WWE, it needed to be on this episode of Monday Night Raw, and yeah, we got absolutely nothing. After that promo package and seeing all the stuff Bayley has posted on X over the weekend, I'm very intrigued with what they're doing. The way that she was during the last 20 seconds of her package to replying to her own tweets, it's reminding me of Randy hearing voices in his head. I don't know what the end goal is with this thing that they're doing with Bayley. Whatever it is, I like it because Bayley needs a refresh. Bayley needs something new. Bayley needs a character overhaul, and I think it's coming at the perfect time. Here's the thing, babyface Bayley, or this version of Bayley, is a Bayley that isn't in need in today's wrestling landscape. There are various different people that could play the Bayley role and honestly play it better right now. So what I'm hoping for is a reinvention of the Bayley character. Now that this version of Bayley has gotten old, it is time to find something new. There was somebody that used to be in the WWE that was very good at this, and their name was Chris Jericho. Maybe we're about to get another iteration of Bayley, like how we kept getting different iterations of Chris Jericho throughout his career. This is where I would have liked Karrion Kross to still be in the WWE because I think it would have been cool if Karrion Kross was there to push the buttons of Bayley alongside Scarlett to give us this new, scarier, more demented version of Bayley because of Karrion Kross's manipulations. Regardless of how we end up getting to this maybe split personality Bayley, like completely different personality Bayley, whatever it is that they're doing, I think it's necessary. This current Bayley has been played out, and whatever it is that they do, honestly, I don't think that they could make it worse. A complete character overhaul just worked for Naomi, and I'm pretty confident that it's going to work for Bayley as well. While I'm excited for what is definitely looking like this year's men's War Games match, this is for sure the most obvious and predictable route in storytelling for a War Game match that I've seen in a while, but at least we have a legit story going into War Games if that's the case. Yeah, this is just par for the course. You know, WWE has done this exact same business model after SummerSlam for the past like 3 years. Big scary faction on Monday Night Raw taking over things, ending every single episode of Monday Night Raw with a big disqualification brawl where the big bad evil heels get to stand tall, and we rinse and repeat for months until we get to War Games. We're literally doing it again. And every single year, it gets tiring. Every single year, people fall out of love with WWE at around this time, especially with other hobbies picking up like the NBA and NFL season. There's going to be other things to watch. And WWE, with them relying on such formulaic storytelling time after SummerSlam over the last couple of years, I can see why so many people drop off and don't come back until the Royal Rumble season. I'm getting a little bit bored of this, but look, at the end of the day, at least it's fresh new heels. It's not the Judgment Day again for like the third straight year in a row. It's not some iteration of the Bloodline. At the very least, it's a brand new heel faction that still has room to grow, and I'm at the very minimum intrigued in that manner. The Vision was supposed to be a powerful stable where every member looks strong week after week, and that's exactly what's happening. Seth's doing an amazing job at making sure that Braun and Bronson become lifelong main eventers once they split. I go back to my previous point that one of the reasons why I'm sticking around with this, one of the reasons why I'm not getting tired of the formula and blueprint being replayed again here in our year 2025 is the fact that it's new faces. Seth Rollins being a heel, it's been a long time since we've had that. And of course, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed just bringing a fresh face and a fresh look to the main event scene is also keeping me engaged. Braun Breaker's development ever since joining Seth Rollins' faction has been amazing. Like, just his character work, his presence, his demeanor, his matches, they've all improved under Seth Rollins. The one that I was kind of concerned about was Bronson Reed. It took a little bit of a while. He was a bit of a late bloomer, but he finally found his thing, his shtick, the way that he differentiates himself, the way that he might be able to be sticky in the main event, because I was a little bit concerned that once this faction broke up, that yes, of course, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker were going to be just fine, but that Bronson Reed was going to go by the way of the dodo. But now, the way things are going on a week-by-week basis, the way things are progressing with all of them, the way things are moving along with Bronson Reed's character development, if we keep going down this route, once this faction really does disperse, I'll feel a lot more confident that everyone is going to be a main event player. That being said, I can't help but feel that they still have room for one more person at the very minimum. The Vision just isn't doing it for me. I like all of the superstars individually, and I've enjoyed what they've done, but they just don't feel like this company-conquering faction that they're supposed to be. I hope that change if we get more members. I see the company-conquering aspect of this faction. We already have one of them, the leader, as the World Heavyweight Champion. I think if they put more gold in this faction, I think we could really be talking about company conquering. It worked for the initial iteration of the Bloodline where they had all of the gold. They were dripped from head to toe, and I think it can work here as well. Let's be honest, the Raw Tag Team division is dead as fuck anyway, so you might as well do something with those Raw Tag titles that can help elevate something else in the show, like the B&B security. I hope sometime in the fall before War Games, we get Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker going after the tag titles and winning these bad boys, just like Tongaloa and Tama Tonga did. That, believe it or not, was one of the catalysts for the growth and explosion of the tag team division over on Friday Night SmackDown, because they were now getting main event exposure. And I think they can absolutely do that with the Bronze here to help not just elevate the tag team division, but help give you this feeling that they are company conquering because they have all of the gold that they could possibly have. Now, imagine if they add a fourth and that fourth becomes an Intercontinental or US champion, then we truly have that company conquering vision that you really want out of this group. With Dom getting busy with AAA, AJ should win the Intercontinental title and should feud with Ilya when he comes back. I want you guys to ring the bells. I want you to send the message pigeons. I want you to tell the world, print out an ad in the front page of the New York Times. Ilya Dragunov is coming back. Everything is saying that he is cleared, good to go, and rumors are that his first feud is going to be against AJ Styles, and I love it. You're right, Dominic Mysterio, if he were to lose this title to AJ Styles, he's going to be just fine. Like, Dominic is now a made man. This guy is on an upward trajectory that it can't be stopped. No one can stop the momentum of Dominic Mysterio, so him losing the IC title to AJ Styles is going to do nothing to hinder Dominic Mysterio's rapid growth to the main event scene, especially if he goes down to Mexico and wins the mega title. So if we do move on from AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, and AJ Styles as the Intercontinental Champion, as cool as it would be to have AJ go up against John Cena, I think that Ilya Dragunov might be the best available option for long-term growth in the company and talent. So I love this. Give it to me. Please, put it in my veins today.
Dude, this just is never worth it. That is insane. It's shaking. The camera is shaking.
Get trying to one-up it.
Oh! Holy Jeff Hardy, Batman. B-M-E. Oh! That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively over on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week we're looking at the SummerSlam 2000 tables, ladders, and chairs match. It's a crazy one. The match with the legendary crowd that was Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in Backlash France. A recent classic between Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans at NXT Stand and Deliver. The street fight between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton at NXT No Mercy. And a Texas death match over an AEW collision between Hangman Adam Page and Christopher Daniels. You'll be getting all of this, plus the Raw review, SmackDown reviews, and every single series that we do that has footage that we can never post here because it would just get blocked due to copyright. So go check it out, link in the description or link in the pinned comment. If you try the Patreon even for just 1 month, I'm incredibly confident that you're gonna fall in love with it. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do as often as we do it, but let's get you back to the video. Once again, have to ask, how did Triple H fumble the Iyo Sky title run and keep her off TV? Dude, I was wondering the same thing. Why in the world did we wait for Iyo Sky to lose her women's championship for her to all of a sudden actually have like engaging storylines and matches on TV on a week-by-week basis? When she was champion, she won, boom, disappeared after WrestleMania up until she had to lose the title at Evolution to Naomi's cash-in. And then ever since then, she's had feuds with Rhea Ripley, Naomi, she's now having this thing with the Kabuki Warriors, and Asuka, she's feuding with the Judgment Day. She's got this ongoing storyline, friendship, not friendship thing with Rhea Ripley, maybe a little thing going on with Stephanie Vaquer. So many things going on in Iyo Sky when she's on TV now as a not champion. I don't get why they didn't do any of this stuff when she was champion. The Sheamus Rusev feud is one of the best feuds in WWE right now. The high-flying, technical, flippy wrestling is cool and all, but some good old-fashioned, big, beefy brawling has been really refreshing. I'm with you, but we can't just do this every single week on Monday Night Raw without an actual payoff. And I want the payoff to be in Europe, to be in Paris. We got two big brutes, two big-ass European dudes. Put them in Europe and let them fight, because if this doesn't pay off in a big way, then it's going to be hard for me to take these guys' feud seriously if they're only ever going to get paid off on Monday Night Raw. It was the problem with the tag team division, where they kept having great match, great segments, great promos, great character development, but it was tough to really fall in love with them when their payoff never happened at a PLE. Now, I'm not saying that Sheamus and Rusev have gotten to SmackDown tag team levels of awesomeness, but we're getting there, and I feel like we need to look and explore at these mid-card feuds, getting an opportunity on, at the very minimum, the B-tier PLEs. Look, Evolution has shown us that a B-tier PLE can be pretty fucking fantastic with 7 matches, and I think that 6th or 7th match could be a Sheamus versus Rusev in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I know people would love that. It's too early for a fatal 4-way for Seth's title, but I'm here for it. See, I actually disagree. I actually think that this is the best possible situation. One, it gives us a world title match, which means we have an active champion defending his championship, and I think that everyone is going to generally agree that that's a good idea. But when I look at the guys that are in line for the title, I want all of them to get their fair shot. I want all of them to get a proper program. CM Punk, LA Knight, and hell, even Jey Uso, I want him to get a proper shot at Seth Rollins. And most of those guys probably should be getting matches at bigger PLEs as well, like the Rumble, like maybe a big stadium show like in San Diego or Crown Jewel. So when it comes to like a B-tier show, just as the Seth Rollins championship run is just beginning, like nobody wants to see Seth Rollins lose the title now, but also I don't want to see them burn a major feud for Seth Rollins so early on in his championship reign, where we know he's really in no danger of losing. So I think the best case scenario is to put him against everyone, and then from here on out, do offshoot individual feuds with each one of these 3 guys later on in the year. Because I definitely want to see Seth versus LA Knight, Seth versus CM Punk, and like I said, sure, even Seth versus Jey Uso, but I don't want to see it so early on in Seth's run as World Heavyweight Champion, where I don't think they even have a chance of winning. Now, this way, at the very least, we get a bunch of stars, we get a fun match, and Seth is gonna retain, just like we're expecting it to. Wrong Samoan, it should have been Roman. Yeah. I thought it was going to be Roman too, and I love that you said wrong Samoan because I kind of said the same thing, and so did a lot of people in the chat and on Twitter. Jey Uso being in this match seems a little bit random and borderline out of nowhere. I really thought it was going to be Roman Reigns, and it should be Roman Reigns, but then again, when I look at the bigger picture of things, I think the correct call here is to keep Roman and Seth Rollins away from each other until we get closer to WrestleMania, even in a fatal four-way environment that's too much. I'd rather them just stay completely separate from one another until we get to WrestleMania. That's where I think the Bronson Reed stuff with the Shula Fala is coming in. I still think we're going to get Roman at Clash in Paris, but it's not going to be in this fatal four-way. So, okay, I'm fine with, no Roman in the fatal four-way, but Jey Uso, I don't really get the reason why he's in this match to begin with. Someone should tally how many Raw main events have ended in a DQ this year. It's ridiculous. Oh, brother, it's only going to get worse. Like I said, this is a classic blueprint for WWE the entire fall. You're going to have the heel faction open the show and or interrupt somebody that is opening the show, exactly like what happened in this episode, and they're going to finish the show with the big scary faction standing tall over the baby faces because of some sort of screwy DQ finish. If you're getting tired of it now, you might as well stop watching because it's only going to get more and more egregious as the weeks go by. I'm hoping to see these endings to Raw don't get too repetitive. I'm getting flashbacks to when it was always the Judgment Day ending the show, and then it was always Sami, then Jey, then Cody to make the save. I fear the same is happening now with the Vision, but with Jey, Knight, and Punk. Like I've already said, this is going to be something that repeats every single week. I think that we can have developments within all of these similarities on a week-by-week basis, like adding another member, like adding somebody else from the baby faces to join in, like maybe a Penta gets in here, because Penta did have a problem with the Vision in the past that didn't really get properly resolved. So just because it is going to be a similar thing week by week doesn't mean that they can't add some seasoning and change things up on a weekly basis. I really wish that Jey Uso wasn't a part of this match at Clash in Paris. No hate to Jey, but they had the opportunity to have a good triple threat where all of the competitors hated each other, similar to WrestleMania 41, but instead Jey gets added for no reason other than he was just out there. I think he's there because he's popular, and I think he's going to have an awesome entrance with that Parisian crowd. But again, the logic of him being in this match, I don't get it. Yes, he never got his rematch clause, but so have a bunch of other previous champions that have never gotten a rematch clause. Where the hell is Roman's rematch after holding the title for over 1,000 days and losing at WrestleMania? You'd think he would have gotten a rematch. It took Cody Rhodes winning the freaking King of the Ring for him to get his rematch against John Cena. So this whole, I'm owed my rematch clause, dude, brother, that's out the window. That's not a good enough reason to just shoehorn in Jey Uso. And even you can make the argument, well, he's had beef with Seth Rollins and the faction before. Fair enough. Like literally like 3 months ago, all right, when he was still champion. We are a whole 2 reigns in between Gunther and CM Punk's reign since Jey Uso had beef with Seth Rollins and it was in the hunt or was the world heavyweight champion. Yes, he had a match at SummerSlam with Braun and Braun Security, but they're not the champions. Why does that give all of a sudden Jey Uso a world championship opportunity? I know. I'm not here for this, all right? I think it should be a triple threat as well. With Ilya set to return, do we see that happening at Clash and him being the 4th member of the Vision setting up War Games? Ooh, now we're talking. That would be fascinating. It's hard for me to see that because I've pretty much exclusively only seen Ilya Dragunov as a babyface ever since I got wind of who Ilya Dragunov is, but just because I can't see him as a heel doesn't mean he can't be a good one. That would be insane, okay? All right, if he were to return at Clash in Paris, join up with the Vision and goes on a run against AJ Styles to be the Intercontinental Champion, maybe this goes back to the earlier tweet that we were talking about how to make them company conquering, putting a bunch of gold on them. And hey, the last time that they were in France for a PLE, there was arguably the biggest debut ever in addition to a faction. Of course, I'm talking about the infamous Tongaloa. Feel like they're having Roman go on a side quest to delay Seth versus Roman. Plus, no chance Seth drops the belt, so why even have Roman in the match? It's probably their way of thinking. I wouldn't mind a 2v1 handicap the way Punk faced the Shield way back in the day. Oh, you're thinking like the Bronze versus Roman Reigns? No, I don't want to see that because that 2-on-1 handicap match. By the way, it was a 3-on-1 handicap match that CM Punk had against the Shield. Shield and won. Like, that made no sense. I don't want to see Roman Reigns going in a handicap match and beating the Bronze. That would just hurt them, honestly. Now, a one-on-one scenario, the Tribal Thief versus the Tribal Chief, I think that's great. I also think that you're making a really good point, something that I mentioned earlier about, like, yeah, maybe this isn't necessary to have Roman Reigns in this fatal four-way match. We can save that until later on, into a bigger match at WrestleMania. Like you said, I don't think that Seth is in any danger of losing the title, so why burn a Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins interaction in that particular scenario? But then again, I want to reiterate, just because it's not Roman Reigns in there doesn't mean all of a sudden we should shoehorn in Jey Uso. I'm under the assumption that Iyo was supposed to win the title tonight, but because of Naomi's injury, but I think that they pivoted to the story of Iyo and Asuka and Kairi way earlier, because this is definitely a Mania feud. Oh, I disagree. I think that this is exactly how this match was supposed to end when it was Naomi and Iyo Sky. Think about how random it is for Iyo Sky to lose to Roxanne Perez, but how not random it would have been had she lost to Naomi in this exact same fashion, and how much more impactful and angry Iyo Sky would legitimately be because the Kabuki Warriors accidentally cost her a world title match. This match basically had no implications. The match between Iyo and Roxanne Perez, they try to tell us that, oh, because of this loss, now Iyo doesn't get her championship opportunity, which isn't logical because Iyo has a championship opportunity. So I think that this is how it was supposed to end. If Naomi was healthy, like, I think Naomi was meant to retain, and we were supposed to go off on this storyline here of Iyo Sky being mad that the Kabuki Warriors accidentally cost them the title, and the Kabuki Warriors being mad at Iyo for being kind of ungrateful and thinking that they would do something like that on purpose to damage her. If Naomi is actually out of action for a while, then what do you want Stephanie Velcro to do in Clash in Paris? Oh, brother. Okay, if she is out, like I'm talking out and has to relinquish the title, then we need Stephanie Velcro versus somebody, right? We need Stephanie Velcro versus some sort of main eventer. We need Stephanie Velcro to go up against another #1 contender to give us a match in Paris. All right, I couldn't think of any more ways to screw up the name Stephanie Velcro. But I think they should still have the championship match, you know? Like, she won a battle royal. If you want me to take that battle royal seriously, you need to pay it off when you told me that you're going to pay it off. If you're going to strip the title, then maybe have another battle royal where the winner of that goes off to face Stephanie Velcro over in Clash in Paris. Loving this step-up evolution of LA Knight into the main event scene. He showed a little bit of heel tendencies tonight, just like his old NXT persona. A desperate Knight searching for his first championship and coming up short is going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm liking what they're doing with LA Knight. However, I have always liked what they're doing with LA Knight, and then I stopped liking it because they stopped caring about LA Knight, and then they don't really actually go the full mile with LA Knight. So I think I'm being pessimistic in this situation about LA Knight. I don't want to like get fully invested in LA Knight's main event run because I've been here, done that, and I've always been disappointed. So I think I'm just sort of keeping an arm's length from me getting too excited about main event LA Knight. I absolutely hate how they're sweeping Penta underneath the rug. He was/is a contender for the title. He went from going against Seth's faction to now placing him as a jobber to face against the New Day. At this point, unite the Lucha Bros. Okay, he's definitely not a jobber. I don't think you know what the jobber definition actually is. That being said, I think it makes more sense for it to have been, if you really wanted a fatal four-way, for it to have been Punk, Knight, Seth, and Penta. That should have been the fatal four-way right there to pay off the full story that both Penta and LA Knight had with Seth Rollins and the Vision right before Seth Rollins' injury. I think that would have been a perfect place to put Penta. Again, they went with Jey Uso. I don't get it. Whatever WWE are planning to do with Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn, I'm definitely not too fond of. Maybe if Sami and Kross's feud had ended differently, I would be more excited, but I have little to no excitement for this at the moment. Yeah, I don't know what the play is here. Is it Sami Zayn going after the United States title? That would be weird considering his whole motivation is to go after the world title. So what is this stopgap feud? Like, are you planning on pushing Sami Zayn to the world title or not? I think it's really interesting what you said here. Like, maybe if the Kross and Sami Zayn feud had ended a little bit differently, I might be a little bit more on board here because we would have seen a shifting, different version of Sami Zayn going up against Solo Sikoa and against MFT. But it's just same old Sami Zayn. Like, nothing has changed about Sami over the last several months. So it's like, okay, I feel like we've done this song and dance way too many damn times at this point. So I'm with you. I'm not really particularly excited over this, but I am happy that it's not just rehashing, you know, Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa for the 30,000th time. Am I the only one that actually thought the Maxxine versus Becky match was really good? Also, I have a feeling that a big Maxxine push is incoming, and I'm here for it. I don't know that you're the only one. You're the only one in this video. I didn't particularly love the match. I would have preferred for this to have actually been non-title, and I would have liked to see Nikki Bella go out there, and I would have liked to see Maxxine beat Becky Lynch because of Nikki Bella, just like when the Hurricane beat The Rock with a roll-up because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. That didn't hurt The Rock. It helped elevate the feud between The Rock and Stone Cold even more, and it gave us a super memorable moment. This also would have been a great way for Nikki Bella to get her clap back because she got absolutely dusted. She got absolutely fucking shackled by Becky Lynch last week with the back and forth promo. So helping Maxxine win a non-title match against Becky Lynch would have been a great way for Nikki Bella to get a big one-up on Becky Lynch to help build that feud and keep them both on the same level of a pedestal. But making this an IC title match completely shackled this and had to be a Becky Lynch victory. No, like there was no other way to go about that. Best sign I've seen in a while. Okay, Travis Scott eats corn the long way. All right. I thought that was the normal way to eat it. Hopefully, whatever's keeping Naomi out of action isn't something long-term. She's honestly doing the best character work of her career, and it would suck if her true rise to the main event scene got cut short. Raw can't afford to lose their top women's heel long-term. Listen, all right, this would be cataclysmic. Not necessarily to the Raw division. It would suck, absolutely, but they would fill somebody in there. Somebody would become the new top heel, maybe this new deranged Bayley. They would find a way to work around Naomi not being there anymore. This would be cataclysmic to Naomi. Like you said, she is doing the best work of her career, and for an injury to derail her to the point where now she's out for a significant amount of time, she has to relinquish the title. God damn it, that would suck so damn much because she has laid every single little Jenga block perfectly, and it is too early to push the tower right now. All right, folks, thank you so very much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. Get out of here.